going on, dudes? How you guys doing? I am TheeRealDuke, and welcome to episode 22 of my Minecraft SMP Let's Play series. You know where we are, you know what we're doing. It's the InfiniteHeights Minecraft server. You should jump on here and join us. We're play.ih-mc.com. Jump in, have fun, help me build this. Help me finish this build, please. Got some new projects in the pipeline to show you guys and to work on. And we completed... I'm going to say like 90% of the Sakura path is what I started calling it. Just cherry tree in Japanese. And here it is. I'm not going to walk through the whole thing because it's actually very long. It's like, I don't know, 400, like half a kilometer or something, 400 or 500. It's a walk. So if I fly up here, you can kind of see how far it goes. So it starts, well, you could get on the path either there or over there, but it kind of comes along here and then it winds all the way down and then back around to here. Again, there's gonna be a bridge here. I built a bridge over here. I did some terraforming like I said I was going to last time, and I did create the island here, and that's what I want to work on today to finish out this path. By the time we're done with the island, there will be 80 trees, 80 individually hand-built and unique little dudes around here, and we'll get to that in a second. I switched up last time. I said I was going to try and turn this into an island here, which I did. Do some terraforming over here, figure out what I wanted to do with this wall. Still not 100% sure what I'm going to do with the wall. I think I'm going to just run it straight and then have it run along the base of the mountain and then wind around. It's quite a distance. The monastery grounds will be massive. I'm not sure I want them to be quite that big, but then again, having them cut through this way doesn't make too much sense, so I'm gonna need to do some more planning and thinking about that. But that's kind of taken care of temporarily. So what I have here, I've been making all the cherry trees out of oak, and so I have my oak set up here. This is how I harvest oak and farm it. I set them up in a 3x3 grid. I have 4 pieces of glowstone to make sure they're bright enough 24 hours a day, and then with my MCMMO wood cutting skill, I zip through here and I should be able to get all 3 of them. There we go. And because they're close enough, they all explode. So, you know, there's that. And then I just reap the rewards. That's how I do it. And then to replant them, you can use bone meal, you know, which I do sometimes if I need them right away. I do use bone meal, but and I'll show you something real quick here. But to replant them, these don't have an issue like spruce or birch growing too closely together. Just as examples. So you can plant them like this and then they'll all grow. You just gotta wait. But one tip for you, and we'll see if I can get this to work here. One tip for you, something that I do, and I need bone meal. Let me grab some. Okay. Okay, so these are all grown. One of the things that happens is if you try and use tree feller, sometimes you know how the oak trees grow too large or grow extremely large and are epic. That might happen, and when you go to use tree feller on something this size, it'll say tree too big because it adds all of the trees together. What I do is, just to be safe, because it counts leaves for some reason. I'm not sure how or why. Maybe it does make sense that it does that. I don't think it does. I think it should count logs only. But what I do is which happens quickly because you're in leaf blower, I just walk along and I trim everything that I can reach along in a square type shape, and that ensures that when I use tree feller that I won't get that thing and it won't like smash my axe or some crap, you know. So if none of the trees grow to the full large size, you don't have to worry about it. It'll work totally fine, just as it is. You don't have to worry about walking around trimming. But if you do get that tree is too large error, that's what it's about, and this kind of helps prevent you from getting that. So, and last one, boom. So what's my wood cutting at? Now I'm at almost level 200, which is good. I mean, you get like a level each time you cut these down, even over level 150 or whatever I'm at. So anyway, enough about that. What I want to build today are 2 huge trees, and I want to make a nice little type thing here, and I'm not sure how much of it we're going to get done today, but I do want to try and get it finished up. So I'm going to have 2 large cherry trees here, kind of as a centerpiece to this whole thing. I want to have a large one centered here, and another large one centered here, and like a nice little gazebo for young children in love. Young people in love to gather and smooch and snuggle, or whatever gross thing. Anyway, have that kind of thing in here. I'm going to have some cool roots maybe, and do something kind of big and cool like that in there. So that's the plan. I'm going to go ahead and get in there and get a basic idea of the scale that I'm working with. I'm thinking about this high-ish to the top so that we can see it from a distance away. Maybe here. What is this? Where am I at here? 88. So we'll see. I'm gonna get on that and build a simple scale. I have more than enough oak here. I've been doing this for a little while, so I have plenty of oak. I have plenty of wool and glass as well. So we're ready to get rocking and rolling here. I'm gonna get again. I'm gonna get working on that, and I'll bring you guys back in a minute. Okay, so what I'm figuring here is, so those are the 2 trees. The one on the right is a little bit closer to me where I'm standing right now than the one on the left. That's why it's coming in a little bit more clear and less fog. What I did was I said initially Y88 is how high I wanted them to be. I factored in that maybe I'm going to have a couple blocks up there and I didn't want them to be too huge, so I took 5 off of that, so they're at Y83. I said Y88 I think, and then yeah, Y83 is what they're at now. Anyway, I think that's pretty good. I'm at the end of this path here, which will be unobstructed. There won't be anything between here. This path is just going to wind over and come down here. So I know they're pretty far away, and I like the size that they're at now. So I think I'm going to go with this size. I'm going to do 2 twin trunk designs. We're going to have the basic root mass kind of in here, and then this larger trunk is going to kind of do its thing out to the side, and then root mass in this area, larger trunk kind of doing its thing out to the side, and then they'll have smaller trunks that come out like this and like this and come up maybe about 1/3 of the way, and then we'll complete the entire shape around given that. So it's more of a complex design than the initial giant tree that we did, so I'm going to walk you guys through that and see how much we get done today. It's pretty easy once you see how it starts going and the design that I came up with for making it. Just hang in there with me, I promise. You'll be able to do it. Piece of cake. Okay, so here you can see the root mound, which again, in bonsai terms, is called an ebari, and looking pretty good. They are approximately the same, generally speaking. They look like they go together okay. I might need to bring this dude out a little bit here. Okay, I think that's good. Okay, so again, we're gonna bring out the large trunk, the main trunk, kind of curving out and then up a little bit. So I'm gonna actually count over 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Off center, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the opposite direction on that side. So they're gonna kind of come up and up like that. And I'm just going to kind of work on hooking this trunk over a little bit here. So the main part of the trunk. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. So there's that. That's kind of a gradual, kind of smooth type lean. I'm going to break out these horizontally oriented blocks and check that out. That looks okay. It looks alright. Don't need this guide anymore. And again, we're going to there. So we'll take that out. Now I'm going to repeat that process on this side, and then I'm going to come back in and add a little bit more thickness to the trunk, and then we'll also make the taper of the trunk a little bit more apparent too. Alright, so it's nighttime, but you can still see what we're talking about here. So I have this kind of gradual taper, and as I'm looking at it from afar here, I'm noticing Needs to be a little bit smoother there, that kind of transition. Okay, so they look similar, but they're not exactly the same. What I did was I picked how the absolute widest part of the trunk, the maximum thickness that I wanted, and I made that this middle line. And then for this scale, I thought that 3 wide would work, and it is as I hoped it would be. And then I made the sides just a little bit more thin than the middle, so that it would just create that taper for me. So it wasn't too hard, was not too much work. It did not take that long, so we're good there. Now I'm just going to kind of curve up. We're almost making like a fishhook type shape, I guess you could say. So I'm just going to create a thinner trunk that kind of curls up a little bit from right here, and it's going to start a little thick, but it's ultimately going to be much thinner than that. So that is about as tall as I think we should make it there. Just like that. So this is actually 1 block taller than the trunks of these main trees here. It's actually already just a little bit bigger than that, but we're using scale to our advantage here also. So let's see what we can do over with this one here. Something like this. One more, I think. Yeah, we'll have that one come in a little bit. So I didn't randomly place the blocks there. I very intentionally placed blocks there, but I didn't consider or overthink exactly how I was placing them. So they're not random, but they're somewhat unintentional. So it has kind of more of a natural vibe to it. And it doesn't look like, obviously, one of the pre-made trees that we have here in Minecraft that we are so used to, which I do love. I'm not saying I don't. I'm just saying we're going to try and do something a little bit different here. And I'm just throwing torches on the back so that you can see a little bit more easily what we're talking about. So these two are the same height, and those were our initial markers. So you can kind of see the basic trunk shape that we're working with here. Now, I'm going to add 3 branches to each of the main trunks. I'm going to add 1 small one here. I'm going to add 2 larger ones at angles coming from this in this direction and also in this direction, and maybe we'll see how it goes, but maybe one in out there. So I'm going to throw those on. That'll be the next step, and then I'll bring you guys back. And this is the view from above. It looks like a mess, but check it out from down here. I was just kind of making sure we had that triangular shape type of thing happening. So from down here you can see the branches coming out, looking slick. This and this looks a little crazy, but it's gonna make sense. I think this looks a little weird because it's like thick right there. Somehow I think that helps. This side doesn't have quite the same problem, but I think that looks better. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do it. Oh, I forgot to thin these out too. So that's that. So what I'm gonna do to change up the way that I make these to keep them looking similar, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come along and place the wool like I did on those. I'm going to start with at the base of the branch / bottom of the tree. We're going to start with a row of, these are rows of 1 on the smaller ones on the island. These are rows of 2 on these large trees. I'm actually going to start with rows of 3 towards the middle of the tree, then rows of 2, and then just 1 on the tips of the branches. So that's what we're going to do, and then I'm going to proceed in that fashion, and this whole thing is going to fill out without even really trying too hard. So I'm going to go grab some wool, I'm going to go grab my glass, and I will be right back. Okay, got my wool, and I'm ready to rock and roll. So what we're going to do is, I'm going to go right here, 1, 2, 3, over on this side, 1, 2, 3, and then over here, I'm going to go 1, 2 like that, 1, 2 like that, and then bloop, just like that. Okay, and so over here, let's go 1, 2, 3, another one will point this one out this way. Then we'll go 1, 2 here, 1, 2 straight out, and then we'll finish the top like this. Okay, so that looks a little strange, but remember we covered the tops with glass, so yeah, I got a lot of glass. So when I fill them in by covering all the sides except for the bottom with glass, it makes that slight change to the outline, and that is going to be key here. So, and we might need to make some adjustments, and that's okay. We might have to update the formula that we're using. That's all right. That is acceptable. So I'm going to fill these in here. Almost done. And then we'll take a step back and see how well the formula pans out for us on this increase in scale that we're trying to pull off here on these large trees in the middle of Sakura Sweetie Honey Baby Island. I don't know if that name is really gonna stick, but I kind of like it. I think it's a little bit long in the tooth. All right, let me just break this one, and then we'll see how we did here. See, I don't think that's too bad, but that looks weird right there. That weird L shape. That's not cutting it. That is not cutting it. So I'm gonna put a log in there, and I don't have any on me, obviously. Bloop. This shouldn't be here, nor should that be there, nor this there. That breaks that space up a little bit nicely. There we go. I like that much more than what it just was, so we're gonna go with that. Now this is gonna make much more sense after this whole thing fills in. So I'm gonna go on just the branches, and then we'll come back after I finish this tree by doing just the branches and see if we need to poke any more in around the trunk. All right, sit tight. We are almost done. We are so much closer to being done than I think it looks like, so stick around. This is gonna be awesome. Okay, so here's what we got following the initial plan that we set out using the initial formula. Taking a step back to look at it, we notice there are a couple huge gaps, and the trees are a little bit more lopsided than I would initially have hoped them to be. So we need to extend this here branch in this direction, probably 2 more blocks, same here, and we need to fill in this hole, something on this side, same over here, this hole, something on this side, and then just double check the back ends here and maybe do a little bit more filler. I'm just gonna go in with a little bit of pink wool, break some glass, and make that happen. Gotta give shout out to all the dudes I was with in TeamSpeak that helped me with this glass. They've been paid for handsomely. Not really, but they have been paid appropriately. It is legit. They helped me out with this and the wool, so I appreciate it, guys. Thank you. Cool dudes on the server, because I don't have my sheep farm up yet. So I think something like that. I would also like to extend this one by another 2. 1, 2 there should help. And then 2 there should do it. Boom. Let's actually go like that. Put a piece of log here, if I can ever chop this. I never have the right tools. Do you do this, dude? Do you like break rocks with, like, you break stone with, like, a shovel, if that's all you got on you and you just need to break 1 block? Is that laziness that makes people do that? I don't know what it is, but I do it. And it takes me considerably longer to do things than it should sometimes. So that looks a little bit more balanced, to be sure. I'm going to add, as we discussed earlier, 2 more here, 2 more here, and 2 more up here. Yeah, I'm actually going to put a little bump in it, just to add a little something. And I'm going to put that bump there. And then we'll see how these work out. And now, you know what? They don't have to be connected. I kind of usually do that, but they don't have to be. So let's see what this looks like if we don't connect them. I'm going to break out this middle one in here. Alright, I'm gonna go fill these in with glass. You guys don't need to see me placing glass blocks. I'm sure that would be really boring and not important. You wouldn't learn anything from that. So I'm going to go ahead and take care of that. And then we're going to look at the final trees. It's going to be awesome. Almost done. Right, the finishing touches are on. It is complete. They is complete. So what I did was I did extend these by 2, these branches up towards the top here. I extended them by 2, but then it was just like a straight pink line. So I actually broke out that block. Like I talked about over on that tree. They don't have to be connected. I did keep them together by linking them with a glass cube. And one there, another one. I extended the peaks on the trees. On this side, I kicked it at an angle, which looks slick. On this side, I just went straight up to the top. Let's see how high we ended up here. What is our Y? Initially, we were talking 88. We're 2 below that, so that's good. Let's take a step back here and really let's see what they look like from afar. I think this will be good, right? This is where we checked them from before. Yeah, so they look pretty big, not too crazy. The style that we chose to make them in is clearly, I mean, they clearly resemble somewhat the initial tree that we made, but they also reference these little dudes that we have all over, which is good. So they kind of look, that's why they look like larger versions of them, because they match. We use a similar formula to keep consistency. It's not so that we use a formula, or I try and come up with a formula to tell me or inform me on how to build things like this, not so that I can make them all look the same, but so if I build them differently, I can still make them look consistent. There's a difference between consistency and sameness. Sameness is boring. Consistency allows you to understand better, so or to recognize patterns, and so that's what we did, and I think it turned out really well. I'm very pleased with how they look. For next episode, we are going to have this island polished off. You guys think it would be cool? I don't have any on me, but maybe like a couple of you know, little pieces of pink carpet down here. Like a couple, like as if some of them had fallen. Maybe a smattering throughout. Let me know what you guys think of that. Again, just a little bit of gazebo, a little bit of a gazebo in there. Should be pretty sweet. And then on to developing this area in here. Now, I thought of an idea for this, and it's going to get real in there. We also need to put up a little bit of a fence around here. Lots to do. Lots more to come in the series. Let me know what you guys want to see. Thank you, dude, so much for taking a second to check this out. I genuinely appreciate it. That is it for me for this episode. I'll catch you guys next time. It's TheeRealDuke, and I'm out.